Have you ever stood at a crossroads in life, where everything seems to crumble, yet deep in your heart, you know you hold a secret powerful enough to turn the tables? Picture this: you're sitting in an office, fluorescent lights flickering, the steady hum of a printer like a rhythmic pulse, and then the door swings open. The person standing before you, with a steely gaze, declares that you no longer belong here. That was the moment Emma Thompson, was fired from SynergyTech, the tech company my father, Robert Thompson, built from nothing. But this isn't a story of defeat. It's a story of how I rose, seized power, and turned a seemingly knockout blow into a resounding victory. Stay with me, because this tale will keep you glued from shadowy conspiracies and buried secrets to the moment I stood up to reclaim what was mine. You'll want to see this through to the very last second. It was a Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, and the atmosphere in SynergyTech's Silicon Valley headquarters was filled with quiet focus. I, Emma Thompson, sat at my desk on the 12th floor, surrounded by Excel spreadsheets brimming with quarterly revenue figures, like a map I was trying to decipher. As head of the data analytics department, I had spent 4 years here, leading my team to remarkable milestones like last quarter, when we achieved an 18% revenue growth, the highest in 3 years. But nothing prepared me for the moment the office door swung open. James Carter, SynergyTech's CEO, walked in without knocking. His face was flushed, his eyes sharp as if they could pierce through me. "Emma," he said sharply, tossing a stack of papers onto my desk. The papers slid, nearly falling off, knocking over my cold coffee mug. "We need to talk. Now." My heart skipped a beat, but I kept my face calm, a skill honed through years in a high-pressure environment. "All right," I replied, gesturing to the chair across from me. James didn't sit. He stood there, his tall frame blocking the light from the window, his voice cold as ice. "The board has decided to restructure the leadership team. We need people with vision, not just those buried in numbers. Effective immediately, you're terminated." I blinked, his words hitting like an unexpected slap. "You're firing me?" I asked, my voice soft but steady. James smirked, a smug grin as if he'd just scored a point in a game. "Don't make a scene, Emma. We're just freeing you from this role. HR will provide details on your severance package. No explanation, no performance review, no acknowledgement of my team's efforts or mine." I sat there, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, the faint smell of coffee lingering in the air. I could have screamed, cried, or thrown the papers in his face. But I didn't. I simply said, my voice even, "I see. Can I know why?" James answered immediately, as if rehearsed. "You lack vision, Emma. You're good at managing tasks, not people. This industry demands strength, decisiveness, qualities you, frankly, don't have." His words weren't just professional criticism. They were a dagger aimed at me, as my identity as a woman in a world he believed belonged only to men like him, men brimming with power and overconfidence. I nodded, keeping my tone neutral. "Thank you for the clarity, James." He frowned, perhaps surprised. Maybe he expected me to explode, giving him a reason to justify his decision. But I had long learned to stay composed in rooms filled with egos bigger than mountains. "I'll need your employee badge and company laptop by 5 p.m., he added, then turned and walked out without a glance back. I sat down, exhaling slowly, and looked at the framed photo on my desk, a picture of my father at the ribbon cutting for SynergyTech's first regional office, his smile radiant. This was the company James had just pushed me out of. But he didn't know, nobody in this building knew that I held a secret powerful enough to shake the entire company. 2 weeks earlier, an event had changed everything, and I was just waiting for the right moment to act. To understand why this moment hurt so deeply, and why it set the stage for what came next, I need to take you back. My father, Robert Thompson, built SynergyTech from scratch. He started in a rented garage in Palo Alto in the 90s, when Silicon Valley was still a wild land of promise. With a small team of dreamers, he coded and assembled circuits, creating the first data management software for small businesses. But my father didn't just want to create technology, he wanted to build a place where people mattered. A company isn't its products or profits, Emma, he used to say when I was a little girl lying under his desk, scribbling with crayons. It's the people who show up every day to make dreams real. I grew up in that world. On weekends, I'd follow Dad to the office, lying under his desk, listening to the clack of keyboards and lively discussions about new ideas. He'd bring me to meetings, introduce me to the team, point at a row of servers, and say, "Emma, this is how we build things with effort, ideas, and belief." I felt part of something big, even as a little girl with pigtails and muddy sneakers. When Dad died suddenly of a heart attack in 2020, I was 25, fresh out of college with a degree in data analytics. My heart broke, and SynergyTech felt the loss too. Dad was the soul of the company, and when he was gone, it began to drift. I joined SynergyTech soon after, starting at the bottom, just as Dad had instructed. You have to earn your place, Emma. Understand every piece of this place. And I did. I worked in customer service, answering calls from angry clients, then moved to logistics, ensuring equipment was delivered on time. Later, I worked in marketing, learning to build campaigns. I absorbed every facet of the company, loving the chaos, the challenges, and the quiet victories when a project succeeded. Then James Carter arrived. He came in 2021, a year after Dad's death, with a polished demeanor, an MBA from Harvard, and a calculated handshake. The board adored him, seeing him as the future of SynergyTech, a modern, ambitious man who'd take the company to new heights. But I saw what they didn't. James didn't care about people. He only wanted power. He cut costs by firing veteran employees who'd been there since the early days, replacing them with cheaper hires who didn't know the company's history or culture. He turned meetings into his personal stage, dismissing any idea that didn't come from him or his inner circle. The culture my father built, warm, collaborative, human, began to erode. I stayed, trying to protect what was left. I worked harder than ever, leading my team with the dedication Dad had shown. I proposed strategies, like a marketing plan that could save millions, only to see James dismiss it as too risky, then present it as his own a week later. I gritted my teeth, watching him steal my work, not just mine but anyone's who didn't bow to him, especially women, the quiet ones, or those who prioritized results over image. But I didn't give up. I stayed for the company, for Dad's legacy, and for my team. We worked late nights, building a software platform from scratch, an advanced data analytics system to optimize business processes for clients. When it launched in 2024, it was a massive success. Revenue soared 15%, and tech press reviews glowed. But at the celebration party, James stood on stage, raising a glass, praising his leadership, without a word about the team that sweated and bled for it. I stood in the back, arms crossed, watching him bask in the spotlight that should have been ours. Some nights, alone in the office after everyone left, I wondered if I was enough. James's words echoed, "You lack vision. You're not decisive." Was he right? Was I too soft? But then I'd remember Dad, who led with kindness yet built an empire. No, I told myself, the problem isn't me. It's him. Everything changed on my 30th birthday, May 15th, 2025. I woke up in my small San Francisco apartment, early sunlight filtering through the blinds, bringing a strange warmth. My place was on a quiet street in the Mission, with simple white walls, a bookshelf full of sci-fi novels, In a corner was my beloved coffee maker. Birthdays weren't a big deal. I was usually too busy for celebrations, but that day felt different. I put on a light sweater, jogged along the bay, feeling the salty sea air. When I got back, my phone rang. It was William Harris, our family lawyer, who'd worked with Dad since SynergyTech's early days. "Emma," he said, his voice warm yet cryptic, "I have something for you. Your father left instructions. You were to receive it today." Curious, I drove to his downtown office, a cozy space with polished wood walls and the faint smell of old books. He handed me a sealed envelope with Dad's wax seal, a falcon he used for important letters. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter from Dad, his neat, familiar script, and a sick legal document. The letter began, "Dear Emma, if you're reading this, you're 30, and that means you're ready. I never doubted you, not for a second. You've worked twice as hard for half the recognition. I saw it all, your sacrifices, your late nights, your integrity that no one noticed. I also saw the company change after I left, and I knew a day would come when you'd need more than a seat in the room. So, I'm giving you the whole table." I choked up, tears welling. The document was a trust agreement, stating that 90% of SynergyTech's shares had been transferred to my name, held in trust until my 30th birthday, with full voting rights. I owned the company. 90%. I read it over and over, hands shaking. "Is this real?" I asked Harris, my voice trembling. He smiled. "Completely. Your father ensured it stayed off public records. The board doesn't know unless you reveal it." I was stunned, adrenaline coursing through me. "Why not sooner?" I asked. Harris replied calmly, "Your father wanted you to experience the company for yourself, to see who'd show their true colors before you acted." His words hit like a wave. All those years of being overlooked, dismissed, Dad had seen it coming. He knew I'd need leverage, not just a title. I didn't act immediately. I needed a plan. I met Harris again at a small downtown cafe, sipping a flat white as he handed me the final legal documents. "You can call a shareholders meeting," he said. "With your shares, you control the agenda." I nodded. "Not yet. I want James to think he's won. Let him get smug one more time." Meanwhile, I noticed odd signs at the company. One afternoon, while checking emails, I received an anonymous message from an unknown address. "Watch out for Jessica Reed. She's working for James." Jessica was the head of strategy, a sharp but cold woman always at James's side in meetings. I'd thought she was just blindly loyal, but the message suggested something deeper. I decided to investigate. I contacted Ethan Parker, a brilliant programmer who'd worked under me but was fired by James in 2023 for not fitting the company culture, a polite way of saying Ethan had dared criticize James's strategy. Ethan now freelanced but stayed in touch with some SynergyTech employees. Over a video call, he revealed that Jessica had been secretly collecting data from my projects, passing it to James to present as his own. "They're playing dirty, Emma," Ethan said, his voice thick with anger. "James doesn't just want you out. He wants to erase your mark on the company." My blood boiled, but I stayed calm. "Does she have proof?" I asked. Ethan shook his head. "Not yet, but I can help you find it. I still have access to some old systems IT hasn't locked." I smiled. "Then do it, Ethan. But be discreet." While Ethan dug into the data, I met Laura Bennett, the trustee managing my shares. She gave me a stack of documents, ownership papers, and a brutal summary of James's leadership. Employee morale was down 38%, turnover was up 47%, and revenue stagnated despite a booming tech market. "James is coasting on fumes," she said. "He'll destroy this place in 2 years if he continues." She also revealed a disturbing detail. A rival company, Technova, was quietly negotiating with James to buy SynergyTech at a bargain price. If it succeeded, Dad's legacy would be erased. On the day James fired me, June 3, 2025, he unwittingly gave me the perfect opening. That afternoon, I texted Harris, "It's time. Set it up." He replied instantly, "Understood." Meeting scheduled in 5 business days. I quietly packed my things, a mug my team gave me for Christmas, notebooks full of ideas James ignored, and Dad's photo. The office buzzed with whispers, colleagues looking at me with pity or avoiding my gaze. I walked out, sunlight hitting my face, and smiled a small, secret smile. They thought this was the end. They were wrong. Over the next 5 days, I prepared meticulously. Ethan sent me a trove of data from internal systems, emails between James and Jessica discussing how to optimize the company by firing more staff and selling core assets to Technova. I also got a report from Laura, confirming James had deliberately stalled innovative projects to weaken the company's value, paving the way for the acquisition. It was clear, James wasn't just a bad leader, he was betraying SynergyTech. On Monday morning, June 9, 2025, I wore a sharp navy suit and walked into SynergyTech's headquarters. The receptionist, Lisa, blinked in surprise but didn't stop me. Harris met me near the elevator. "They're in there," he said. "James thinks this is just a strategy meeting." I smoothed my jacket, took a deep breath, and walked in. The boardroom door opened, and all eyes turned to me. James was mid-sentence, gesturing dramatically, then froze when he saw me. "Emma, this is a board meeting," he snapped. I set my documents on the table and smiled. "Exactly." I took the head seat. The room went silent. James shot up, face red. "You're an employee, you have no right to be here." I replied, my voice calm but sharp, "I'm not here as an employee. I'm here as the majority shareholder." I slid the documents to Richard Evans, a board member from Dad's era. "Is this correct?" he asked. "Completely," I said. 90% of the shares, transferred to me on my 30th birthday. All legal, notarized. James laughed, his voice drooping with disbelief. "You're not serious." "Why would your father?" "Because he trusted me," I cut in, my voice firm. "And because he knew what this company needed." I opened the second set of documents. "As the majority shareholder, I'm calling this meeting to review leadership, starting with the CEO." James shouted, "This is a coup. A personal vendetta." I raised my voice just enough. "I'm not asking. I'm acting." I presented the financial report, morale down, turnover up, discrimination complaints ignored, revenue flat. "This is the result of your leadership, James," I said, looking him in the eye. "Lavish business trips, bloated bonuses, doctored reports, and a plan to sell SynergyTech to Technova for pennies. All under your watch." He stammered, "You're twisting the truth." I replied, "I don't need to twist it. I have proof." I presented Ethan's emails, Laura's report, and employee testimonies. "The board deserves the truth," I said. "And this company deserves a real leader." I handed over the final document. Effective immediately, I moved to remove James Carter as CEO. With 90% of the shares, I don't need another vote. Evans nodded. Motion carried. James slammed the table but could do nothing. He stormed out, his face twisted with rage. For the first time, he looked small. Removing James was just the first step. The following Monday, June 16, 2025, I held an all-hands meeting in SynergyTech's grand auditorium. Employees filled the room, their eyes skeptical and curious. I stood alone, no notes needed. "Some of you know me," I began. Some only know the rumors. But I'm here to restore trust. Last week, I was fired, told I wasn't what this company needed. I didn't argue. Because leadership isn't about shouting loudest. It's about vision and respect. I smiled, hearing a few soft chuckles in the crowd. They were listening. For years, this company ran on you, your ideas, your grit, your belief. That was forgotten. Starting today, we were bringing it back. I spent weeks listening, meeting everyone from interns to janitors, asking what they needed. I promoted Mia Johnson, a stellar customer service employee, to lead customer experience. Mia, a Black woman with a radiant smile and rare dedication, had solved complex client issues without proper recognition. I rehired Ethan, who'd helped expose James's scheme. I overhauled HR, firing managers who spread fear, and launched a people-first initiative recognizing every contribution, no limits. Change came slowly, then all at once. Laughter returned to the break room. Desks filled with plants and family photos. One day, I saw a note on a whiteboard, "She's back." Not "she won." Just "she's back." That hit me harder than any title. But the journey didn't end there. Just as I began rebuilding SynergyTech, a new thread emerged. Technova, the rival company, didn't abandon its acquisition plans. They hired a legal team to challenge my share ownership, claiming Dad's trust had legal loopholes. I knew it was a ploy, but it forced me to fight on a new front, the courtroom. I teamed up with Harris and a top-tier legal team led by Olivia Chen, a sharp lawyer with experience in major corporate cases. Olivia, with her short black hair and piercing gaze, quickly became an indispensable ally. "They have no legal ground," she said in a meeting at Harris's office. "But they'll play dirty. We need to be ready for anything." Meanwhile, I worked with Ethan and Mia to develop a new product, a platform called Synergy AI, designed to help small businesses optimize data affordably. This wasn't just a product, it was a statement that SynergyTech wouldn't be broken. We worked day and night, facing pressure from the lawsuit and industry rumors. During this time, Jessica Reed, James's former ally, unexpectedly reached out. In a brief email, she wrote, "Emma, I want to make amends. I know I was wrong to work for James. Give me a chance." I didn't fully trust her. Her loyalty had once been to James, but I decided to test her. I gave Jessica a small role in the Synergy AI project, analyzing market data for expansion opportunities. It was a test, and I watched her closely. The Technova lawsuit dragged on for 3 months, from July to September 2025. Each court session was a tense battle, with Technova's lawyers trying to undermine the trust's legitimacy. One day, in a San Francisco district court, their lawyer, a tall man named David Kramer, presented a forged document, claiming Dad had signed a secret agreement to sell shares to a third party before his death. I glanced at Olivia, saw her clench her fists, but she calmly countered with notarized evidence proving Kramer's document was fake. Meanwhile, Synergy AI hit a snag. A technical glitch caused the AI to return inaccurate results, delaying the launch. Ethan worked tirelessly to fix it, but the pressure wore him down. One night, I found him in the server room, eyes red from lack of sleep. "Emma, I don't know if we can launch on time," he said. I put a hand on his shoulder. "We'll make it, Ethan. You're not alone." Jessica, meanwhile, started proving her worth. She discovered that Technova was using stolen SynergyTech data to build a competing product. She gave me a dossier, including emails between Technova executives, revealing they'd hired a hacker to breach our systems. "I know I messed up," Jessica said, her voice shaking. "But I want to fix it." I looked into her eyes, searching for deceit but finding sincerity. "Thank you, Jessica," I said. "But if you betray me again, There's no third chance. By October 2025, we fixed the Synergy AI glitch. Ethan and the tech team worked relentlessly, and I held an internal demo, inviting employees from every department to see it. When the screen displayed accurate data analytics, the room erupted in applause. Mia, standing beside me, whispered, "We did it, Emma." I smiled, but I knew the real battle was still ahead. The Technova lawsuit peaked on October 15th. Olivia presented Jessica's evidence, proving Technova's intellectual property violations. The judge, a stern woman named Margaret Hayes, ruled in SynergyTech's favor, confirming my trust's legality. Technova was heavily fined and forced to halt their competing product. As I walked out of the courthouse, sunlight on my face, I felt a weight lift. On June 1st, 2026, I stood before SynergyTech's glass doors, now CEO. Synergy AI launched successfully, restoring the company to the forefront of the tech industry. Revenue rose 25%, employee retention hit an all-time high. The office buzzed with life, desks adorned with plants and family photos. One day, I saw a new whiteboard note, "She brought us back." It touched my heart deeply. Dad's portrait hung behind my desk, a silent reminder. One night, as city lights twinkled outside, I found another letter from him in his old desk drawer. "Emma," he wrote, "always believe in yourself, even when the world turns its back. You are my legacy, and I'm proud of you." I smiled, tears streaming down my cheeks. "We did it, Dad," I whispered. If this story inspires you, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, your story. Let's build something meaningful together. Thank you for being here.